Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Wednesday, September 2nd, and I'm finally here to share my weekly stitching update. Monday, when I usually would film, my husband had taken the day off so we could go to IKEA in the middle of a weekday to hopefully not be so crowded. And it was still a little bit crowded, but we were able to get in pretty quickly and got mostly what we had gone for, getting some shelves and things for our game room. So, and then yesterday I tried to film. I filmed a nice long 45-minute video and went to edit it, and there was no audio, no sound at all. I don't even know why. I did another test video right after that and it worked fine. So I'm not sure what happened. Guess it wasn't meant to be. So here's hoping today's video works and that it's gonna be all good. So first off, I want to say thank you and I'm sorry for last week's video. About a month ago, YouTube decided in its, infinite wisdom that putting ads in the middle of everyone's video was going to be great, and it forced it on everybody. And I changed the settings saying, no, don't do that. My channel-wide setting said no ads in the middle of the video. However, for some reason, even though I double-checked that setting on last week's video before I uploaded it, they were all still there. They had changed the settings sometime between when I checked it and when I uploaded it. So there were a few of you who let me know in the comments, and I went ahead and went back in and changed it, and I think it's fine now. So I'm sorry if that happened to you, because I don't want that experience for any of you. I don't like having ads in the middle of the videos. It's disrupting and not relaxing. So please let me know, and thank you to those of you who did, because that's never going to be my intention. So if you see that, that means it's there was an error, a technical glitch somewhere that made that happen, because I don't want that to be the case. You'll probably see some at the beginning before it starts and maybe at the end after it's over, but never in the middle. So hopefully we got that sorted out. But if you ever do see that again with ads in the middle of the video, please let me know and I can try to fix it as soon as possible. Okay, so let's get going. I have a lot to say, a lot to share. Let's see, what's the first thing? I got a little bit of I got my, I guess, stitch email from the Fat Quarter Shop, where they send me a couple complimentary patterns. And so this one is Sew by Row with scissors and sewing machines and the irons. Those are kind of cute. I don't know that I would stitch all of this, but maybe, part of it could be fun. My daughter seemed to think this was fun too. Maybe she'll stitch part of it too. And then this was also cute. There's some Halloween stitch cards. And this kitty, which is actually the one on the back, is really cute. So again, something I think my daughter would like. And like the last stitch card pack had a dog in it, so I could see my son liking the dog and my daughter liking the cat. And again, they sent a the second installment of the Prim Stitch series, which I'm already getting from them in another, set of things. So I don't need a second one. So this one is going to be another giveaway for you guys. Because this one's called Joy and Contentment, I'll include the keyword will be joy if you would like to receive this. Calls for DMC. It's only full crosses in the pattern. Mine is weird because I'm adding specialty stitches, but I'm just doing that on my own. The actual pattern is just regular cross stitches. So if you say I'd like to stitch the joy pattern or just include joy somewhere in your comment, then I can enter you to win this one. Please don't say giveaway. Please don't say drawing. Please don't say enter, win, freebie, any of those kinds of things. I want to make sure it goes to one of you guys, one of our lovely stitchers. and while I'm talking about that one, I will show mine. So not a ton more from last time, but more than last time I filmed, because I did work on it a little bit more since I filmed yesterday. So here is mine today compared to last time. And I got these 2 stars finished, but not the centers. I'll do some rhodes stitches in the center of each of those. And then I got to work more on the leaves yesterday while I had taken my kids to the dentist. So these specialty stitches in the basket were all just kind of my made upness. I had the suggestion for a lattice stitch right here, and I think that turned out really nice. So again, thank you for that suggestion. Then I might come to you again with the other patterns if I'm stuck as to what type of stitch to do, because I know a lot of you might have more experience with that than I do. And speaking of that, that reminds me of when I was editing my video last week. I noticed that I have passed 8,000 subscribers, which is kind of a, mind-blowing. I just passed 7,000 in April, and it seems like, how could it keep going up? There's only so many cross stitchers, but I'm very thankful. This is a fun community. I'm really encouraged by all of you. You leave such nice comments. I like that I can partake some of my experience to you, and then if I need help, you guys, some of you have more experience than I, and so you can help me. And it's a nice give and take relationship there with the whole, online stitching community, which is nice because I think most of us are alone in our stitching world. Like, we don't often have people around us physically who like to stitch, and so it's nice to have this online community where we can help each other and be resources for each other from even across the world, and that's amazing. So I had an idea to celebrate the 8,000 subscribers, because it also goes along with my newest temperature pattern, because I wanted to release this September anyways. And so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that'll go right along with releasing my pattern. So what I thought I would do is I'll show you the pattern, and I'm going to plan a giveaway for any instant download in my Etsy shop. I'll draw 8 winners to go along with 8,000. And so next week, I probably won't be able to stitch or film on the 7th on Monday, which is also my birthday, because it's also Labor Day, and my family will not be working or schooling that day, so I don't think I'll probably have time to film. So I'll film on the 8th, which also lines up with 8,000. So I'll draw 8 winners on the 8th for a free instant download pattern from my Etsy shop. And also starting on the 8th, I'll go from the 8th to the 16th and have a sale in my Etsy shop on all the instant download patterns of 16%. So I'm trying to do like all the multiples of 8. So if you didn't win, I'll have a sale in my shop for 8 days. So that'll be kind of a fun, celebration of 8,000 subscribers. So there you go. That's my plan. And so this is my newest release. I'll get it up probably today while I'm editing this video, assuming all goes well. This is Temperature Typography, and I have just made the letters be the focal point, and there's blocks of colors within the letters to represent the days of the month and the temperature for each day. So you can see, like, it's colder in January, hotter in the summertime, at least for me. Everybody's would be different. Australia would be flipped. So this one, trying to think. The way the pattern works is I have symbols for the days of the month so that you can easily see where one day stops and one day starts. I was able to get this to work in Pattern Keeper, and I've also released a Pattern Keeper version for Temperature Tree, which I told my Facebook group about earlier in the week, last week. So a few of you already have that. And so if you have already purchased the Temperature Tree in any form, you can email me at stitchinmommy7@gmail.com with the name you used to order it, and I'll look up your order and I can email you the Pattern Keeper compatible version if you would like it, because I know sometimes that's helpful, and I'm gonna start trying to use it too when I work on mine. So we'll see how that goes. And let's see, to enter this giveaway, you can say temperature because it's a little easier to spell than typography. So if you would like to be entered to win an instant download pattern, it doesn't have to be this one. It could be any of the instant downloads. There's, I think, 5 total now. Temperature version patterns. There's a variety of poems and things too up there. I don't know that I'll have any ready by the time the sale goes up next week, but I am working on a collaboration of patterns with my niece, who is a wonderful artist, and she's drawing things for me to chart, and so that's gonna be fun. I'll hopefully sometime this fall I'll get some of those started. I'm working on a model stitch for one of them. I'm not planning to model stitch all of them before I release them, but a select few. So I want to at least have the first one done before I start releasing them, and I'm excited about that. It'll be fun. So hopefully you like them too. So that's fun. You can enter either one or both of these. If you want the Prim Stitch Series number 2, have the word joy in your comment. And if you would like to win an instant download pattern for my Etsy shop, you can use the word temperature. And I'll draw 8 winners for this one. Obviously this only has 1 winner because it's a physical copy. So, and the physical one can be anywhere in the world, and as the digital one obviously can be anywhere in the world. So yay, that's fun. Hopefully that is exciting. So I'll draw that in order to, I know this video is a little bit late, but in order to keep the numerical theme, I will be drawing on the 8th because I want it to be, yeah, I want it to line up with the 8,000. Anyways, it's kind of silly, but that'll be fun. And I'll be using the YouTube random comment picker thing, using those keywords joy and temperature. So make sure those words are in your comment and not the other words like giveaway and drawing. And yeah, I think that's everything. Enough blabbing about that. So, I guess we can go right into what I worked on this week. Oh yeah, I was gonna share the rest of my temperature patterns, since that's what the part of what the giveaway is. So this is my first one that I did, the temperature garden. I stitched this 1/1 on 32 count white linen, and so mine's kind of small, but this is actually, I have 2 versions of this. This one where the petals are just one color for the high temperature, and then I also have a high-low version where each petal has 2 colors. You can put the low temperature in there as well. That's that one. And I have the temperature quilt, which is also a high-low pattern. And mine is 28 count 1/1, and the upper diagonal is the high color and the lower triangle is the cold color. And I have suggestions in the pattern for either a muslin color or a dark gray color, because they both look really nice in their own way. So I went with Fresh Wool by Color and Cotton for my sashing color. So it does have a little bit of variegation to it. And I had received a request recently to show all of these again. So my other one that I did last year was my temperature balloons. And this one is more of a seasonal chunk. This is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. No, wait, no. July, August, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and then December. So these 2 are one season. This is, for me, this is winter, spring, summer, fall. And I have notes on the pattern where the months start. I have symbols for each day of the month, so you know the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, etc. So it's fairly easy to follow. But each balloon is kind of its own season, which is nice because then you can see slightly different colorings for the different ones. So that one turned out cute. I like that one. That was also 28 count 1/1. I actually used the same piece of fabric from, this was what Hobby Lobby used to sell, the MCG Textiles even weave. And I used the same piece of fabric for both the balloons and the quilt. I just cut it up and I got both of them out of that, so that was fun. And this year, I'm working on the temperature tree, which a lot of you have and are working on too. And I got caught up on Sunday, so this is not caught up through the end of August because I work on this on Sundays. So caught up through Saturday's temperature, and here it is before and after with last time. This is the current light blue even weave that Hobby Lobby sells. It's Artiste brand by Zweigart, and it's a little bit lighter than the other light blue that MCG did, but it's nice and soft and really nice to work on. So this was last week's temperatures, and it is pretty mild this week. We've actually been able to go for a walk at lunchtime again because it's less than 90 degrees. It's like 85, 83 something in the middle of the day. Probably gets possibly into low 90s in the afternoon, but we'll see when I get the leaf temperatures. It's supposed to get back up to triple digits this weekend though, so I may get a few more flamin' leaves in here before too long, but hopefully that will be the last hurrah of summer and we can just dive into fall here. We shall see. So those are all my temperature pieces, and what I worked on this week, or last week, was the last of Arbitrary August. So as I've explained, this year for Arbitrary August, I picked one whip in 4 categories and I spun a wheel for each of the size categories. So my small project that got spun last week was my Blackwork Flower and Butterflies by Leslie Tier, and she calls for DMC for everything, but I did a color conversion for Victorian motto, just stuff I had in my stash because I figured why not, might as well use it. And this is something that doesn't have to be an exact match, just to be pretty. So this is also that light blue Artiste fabric that I'm using for this Blackwork piece. I love that stuff. If I have to go to Hobby Lobby for something else and I don't need my coupon for it, I'll just always go back to the cross stitch section and pick up another roll of this light blue stuff. I love it. It's so nice. It works for everything. So hopefully I did it before and after. If not, I'll do that right now. I came in here and did some Petite Treasure braid up here. These are just cross stitches with 1 strand over 2, because this is normally 2 over 2 on 28 count for all these cross stitches. But Petite Treasure braid, Krynic, I just use 1 strand as it comes off the roll. And then I cross stitched this butterfly as well as these squares in this petal. This petal will look just like this one. So that's the difference that the backstitching makes when it's pre-black work and post-black work. So that's kind of cool. When I come back to this, whenever I do, this will have a lot more backstitching. It doesn't have any right now. So I'll add a lot of outlining and swirling and all sorts of stuff. So, but I thought that was a nice, nice progress to make for I think a couple days. And the medium piece that got spun was my Ink Circles tapestry. And this is another one, I think it was charted for Gentle Art threads, and I did a Victorian motto color conversion also, mostly with the threads she put out for the Elizabeth Cox sampler pack. I'm not sure if she still sells those, but she might. She might have some, I'm not sure. She has a blog, but she conducts her business via email. So if you have a question, just email her and she'll get back to you. And here's this one. This is on like antique white Jobelin, 28 count, and I'm doing mine 1 over 1 with those Victorian motto threads. And I managed to get all the way to the top of the pattern. I wasn't sure I could do it. I was focusing at least on this flower, but it took me, it just took me 1 day, I guess, to do this. So I figured I have a little bit more time, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get all the way to the top. So this is the top of the pattern. Woohoo! So I will work over here next time, you know, to try to get that quadrant done first, I guess. So we'll see. Slow and steady wins the race. They're pretty colors to work with, and it's fun to see where they're placed and follow the pattern like that, even with the color conversion. So my large pattern that was spun was Stargazer by Mirabilia. And this is one I'm doing a color conversion, as well as I dyed my own fabric to make it dark blue. And this one was also the first one that I used. I was participating in a new challenge group. So Terry Lee Crafts here on Flosstube, she started a Facebook group called Cross Stitch Township, and it is private and closed at the moment. So it's really small, a really small group. And but she's gonna have 3 prompts every week. And I like that because I had already been thinking that 4 projects a week was maybe a little bit too much. So 3 I think will be just right. And so I'm probably gonna switch over to try to focus on those challenge prompts rather than the Enchanted Stitching challenge prompts that I was doing a lot earlier in the year, because I think having 3 prompts will be a little easier to navigate than 4. But they had a practice round of challenges last week, and you get to set your own goal to ideally be a challenging prompt goal for you. I mean, the prompt is given to you, and then you set the goal that you want to reach. So for this one, at that point, I decided I would like to go ahead and finish these star beads in the sky, because I always felt a little like I shouldn't be moving forward with the girl until I finish those stars, because they're all at the top and I want to have them done before I move down into the dress. So that was my goal in that group, and I met my goal. So here she is, before and after. This is MCG Textiles 32 count linen that I dyed with denim RIT in like a double dye, super hot water, etc. Everything I could do to make it as dark as possible, and I rinsed it out amazingly, like extensively, and it's not going anywhere. So I'm not worried about holding it in my hand because I know I will be able to wash it if I need to, but I also probably won't wash it just because I don't usually wash most things. But anyways, I thought it turned out really nice. All those sky star beads are done. So now I'll go back and fill in the sleeves on her jacket, have some holes, and then I can move down into the rest of her dress, and it'll be so much fun. So, and just a comment on the beading, I use, for this, I use dark blue DMC. I believe it was 336, like a navy blue DMC. I'll show you my back so that when I carry from star to star, it won't show through on the front. And if I am using, my rule of thumb, if I'm using DMC, which is almost all the time I like to use DMC, if the beads will be spread out with no stitching around them, I'll use a thread that matches the fabric, so it doesn't show through on the back. If I'm doing beads that are surrounded by stitching, like these ones in her collar, I used a thread that matched the bead so that it doesn't stick out. Because if I had used dark blue thread on these beads, I think it would be awkward and noticeable. So I used like probably one of these colors in the bead. So that's my rule of thumb for that. Your tip of the day. So that was fun. That's a really nice relief to get all of those beads done. And they look really nice. So my large Arbitrary August Spin, extra large Arbitrary August Spin from last week was Princess of the Sea, Mini Princess of the Sea. This is by Donna Gelsinger, Heaven and Earth Designs, and I have the mini version, but it's still, as you can see there, pretty big, 243 by 325, so still a pretty big chart. But I'm doing mine 28 count Dove Gray Monaco, 2/1 half stitches, and here's where I got to. I made my goal in Cross Stitch Township to be 500 half stitches, and I managed to do it. I got 524 half stitches. And so I did a length of thread in her face and hair that was a darker shade, so that's nice to add some contour. And then I added several shades up here in the sky, some blues and purples, and that helped get the stitches fast too because it just fill in. I think some of it ended up over here too, so really nice. Some of the colors that were like kind of a tealy blue up here, I just did a few stitches and then ended my thread because the only other time they were used is down in the water, and I didn't want to go all the way down here quite yet. So that's that one. I'm really enjoying that one. That was a fun one. And the other challenge that I gave myself for that township group was to finish the leaves for that week on my temperature tree. And so I did that. Let's see. On Saturday, Kim, the Spartan Stitcher, co-admin at Full Coverage Fanatics, she discovered that the Tour de France was starting on Saturday. Kind of snuck up on her, snuck up on the group, because last year they did a challenge for the Tour de France where you stitch throughout the course of the event, which I think is about 3 weeks. You stitch the amount of stitches that they ride in kilometers. So you could do it every day. You could, you know, stitch ahead or catch up. As long as it's during the 3-week period, you can, you know, kind of do it however you want. You could either do all of the kilometers, you can do just the sprinting kilometers, which is the smallest chunk, or just the climbing kilometers, which is a medium chunk. Last year I did the small chunk of sprinting kilometers, and I did it, and I really enjoyed it because they're broken up into 100 to 200 stitches a day, and it's doable in that amount of stitches. And I decided to go with my hemming and hawing quite a bit actually on this one, but long story short, I decided to go with Quick Stitch Iris again because I did this one for the Tour de France challenge last year. So this is another Heaven and Earth Designs. It's a full cross pattern that I'm doing in full crosses. All of these you can do either full crosses or half crosses, just a preference issue. This one I am doing in full crosses, and so that's a big reason why I chose it last year, so I don't have to double my stitches for the challenge. In that group, half stitches count as half, so you have to double your stitches. Since these are full crosses, I don't have to double my stitches, so that's a bonus, and it's meant for a gift, so I would like to finish it sooner rather than later, so getting an extra chunk on it is really nice. So I decided to go ahead with it. I'm going to try for the yellow jersey, which means you do all of the stitches. And I know it will probably put a damper on what I'm able to do with my focus projects for each day, but I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's nice to using Pattern Keeper, which tracks stitches for me. I don't have to count my stitches myself. I just stitch until and highlight regularly as I go so that it keeps tallying the stitches, and when I get to the amount of kilometers for that day, I know I can stop and go stitch as long as I want on something else. So it's actually really nice, and knowing that I'll get, I think it's like 3,500 something, there's a lot of stitches by the end of this 3 weeks. And I don't usually stick with something consistently that long. I like to hop around from project to project, so it'll be fun to see a huge chunk of stitches put in this, especially since it's for a gift. It'll be nice to see. So here is what it is looks like right now, and I've already put in 4 days of stitches for Tour de France, which all had close to 200. They were all under 200, but 160, 198, you know, things like that. Next to where you saw it last time. So what I'm doing is I'm going along the top and picking colors here and either stitching in them till the string runs out. I've had 2 colors that I finished. They like came down here, and then that was all there was in the pattern. So there's a couple that I color completed, but most of the time I just stitch until my string runs out and then come back up and pick another color. So I'll hopefully be filling in completely as I go down. There's some gray, there's some burgundy, there was some blues put in here, as well as, you know, up here. So super excited to see how that goes. And so that will be a daily, mostly daily thing. There's 2 rest days the next couple Mondays. They don't have any kilometers that they're riding that day, so those are rest days. You can either use them to catch up with your stitches or just wait or work ahead or something. So that'll be fun. This week, oh yeah, and on Monday, it was technically still August, so I had spun another quote-unquote small project, which I know this is not a small project, but in the relative to my other projects, apparently this one ended up in the small category. This is Dragon Ride by Teresa Wensler. I'm doing this for one of my sons, and I did get this finished, but I worked on it yesterday also in order to finish my personal goal in the township group. I wanted to finish the color that I had been working on in the dragon, and last time I had been working on like a medium yellow color, and I knew I had more to do to color complete that color in the dragon, and so I wanted to finish it, and I did. But I did need to go into September to do it. So here's hopefully a before and after. You may not be able to see what I did from this far back, but there were a couple pinions right here that I filled in that middle color, and the middle color also came down here and here, a little bit in here. Also, a lot of the claws, you had that color a little bit here, and even here in the straps and the saddle and things. So that's what I did, and met my challenge goal for the Cross Stitch Township group. The prompt was fantasy. But especially since I have had my September plans completely plotted out already, for this township group, I'm hoping they line up. If I can hopefully spin a story to match them up with the prompts, especially since I already have my projects planned. Normally, like going forward into October, I might have more flexibility to use the prompts to help me pick what I'm working on. But right now I'm using what I've already picked to try to fit the prompts. So I'm kind of working backwards this month. But that's okay. I was trying to get back to my family pieces here in September, since I skipped them for August, unless they got spun. And my boys' pieces both got spun, but none of the other ones did. So here is my husband's piece, which I work on the first. You may not be able to see a lot of progress on this because I did white on white, but I will show you before and afters just in case. So here is this one, and I don't know if you could see, but I filled in what white there was in this chunk as well as her teeth, and that finished off the thread that was on my needle, and it was about, let's see, I wrote it down, 163 half stitches. This is 40 count even weave 1/1 half stitches, really tiny. And I was hoping to maybe have time to do the yellow in her arm, but with the chaos of my video not working yesterday and taking the kids to the dentist office and etc., I didn't, and working on Quick Stitch Iris for the Tour de France, I didn't have extra time. So next time I would like to get her arm filled in. That'd be fun. So that's all I'll work on here in September, but hopefully I'll be able to pull this out again in October and November and December. So that's the plan anyways. And starting today and tomorrow for Wednesday and Thursday, oh, I still didn't get the pattern, but I'll be working on my older son's piece, Touchdown. So here's the starting point on this one. And I made my goal in Township to be finishing the cross stitches. So it might be a lofty goal. I'm not sure if I will be able to do it, but I have their shoes and some bands on the socks that is left to stitch. And there's a good amount of backstitching. Most of Charles Woodson still needs to be backstitched, and this whole shoes and socks area needs to be backstitched. But I'll save that for another day. For this month, I'm hoping to see if I can get all the cross stitch done down here. That would be really cool. So I have 2 days to do it. Wish me luck, especially since I'm working on a model stitch for my shop as well as the the iris for Tour de France. We'll see. I already got to start on my model stitching today. I'd like to get at least 2 strands in a day, and didn't get any time on it yesterday, so I was hoping to get 2 or 3 strands today. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I already got started on it though, so hopefully I can get some decent progress on touchdown today and tomorrow. And then Full Coverage Fanatics is doing a weekend challenge. They do these little pop-up weekend challenges every once in a while. This one is called Confetti Conquistadors, and it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this coming week, the 5th, 4th, 5th, and 6th, to work on one of your full coverage pieces that's got a lot of confetti. And, sorry, a stitching shelf, Max Colors, is my confetti nightmare. It's really pretty, but it has a lot of confetti, mostly because it's Max Colors, but also because of all the detail. So I really like the detail that the Max Colors brings, but it does have a lot of confetti. So I've been working in the summer band, the summer shelf most of the time, the last couple times I worked on it. But this time, because it's a specific confetti challenge, I'll be working in the top corner, trying to get my confetti parked threads figured out. So here's all of it. Try to get back, let you see it all. I can't really see through the fabric, so I hope you can see it all, but this is on 28 count Dove tea-dyed Monaco. And it's 2/1 half stitches. I would like to get as many of these parked threads stitched in as possible. My specific goal that I made for the township group is to get at least one 10x10 block stitched in, which there are a lot of threads in here. Like, this feels really thick to me. There's a lot of different colors. So there's no way I'll get all of these done in 3 days, but I'm gonna make a good college try. Some of these are really long too. So we'll see how far I'm willing to go to find more colors or more symbols to fill them in, but we'll see how that goes. So that's my plan. I'll do a nice close-up for the before and after, because I will just mainly be working right here for the Confetti Conquistadors challenge this weekend. And then we get to the 7th of September, which is my birthday. So I will be starting Garden Prelude by Mirabilia. When I saw that come out, I thought, oh, I have to do that one. A lot of her newer designs I haven't been as tempted by, but I really like this one. So here we go. Get that all put away. So here's Garden Prelude by Nora Corbett, Mirabilia, and I'm going to be stitching mine on Wedgwood Lugana, 32 count. It fits on a fat quarter if it's 32 count. It has the 2 or 3 inch border on all the sides. If you're doing 28 count, you probably will need to go up to a fat half. I have all the beads that are called for and the Krynic, but I've been told that the water lilies that are called for are all in the flowers. So I will just be looking for some things in my stash that match closely to what is called for. Because I got a lot of fancy floss. I don't need to buy something special for that, just for the natural looking ones. So I'm excited. So I'll be starting this on the 7th, and I'm planning to give it an entire week, unless I get bored of it. I'm not sure if I will love working on the same project for a whole week, or if I'll get to a certain stopping point and just be itching to do something else. So if I itch to do something else, I'll pull out something else. But when I see you next, Lord willing, the 8th of September, I will have started this and got a tiny start on it. So hopefully I can show you that next time. I'm be starting this with Dawn Frosty X Stitch, who also has a September birthday. And Terry Lee Crafts has a September birthday. She'll be starting a different Mirabilia. I think it'll be later in the month, closer to her birthday. So she came up with, thought it would be fun to have a September birthday Mirabilia Sal hashtag. So I shortened that to Sept B-Day Mira Sal. And so if you have a September birthday or want to celebrate with the September birthdays, stitching a Mirabilia, you can start this one or another one you have or want to start and work on it and post in Instagram, and we can all enjoy it. Or just follow the hashtag and you can see the progress of the people that are participating. So always pretty. And the Cross Stitch Township group also is going to do like a bonus pop-up challenge for people's birthdays, and they get to pick what the SAL is for their birthday. And I think I might be the first one in the group having a birthday. So they're doing a Mirabilia SAL in that group too for just the 7th. And in that group, I've opened it up and said, yeah, any fancy lady, Nora Corbett will also work because, you know, I love all of that. So for the September birthday Mira hashtag, probably best to keep it a Mirabilia since that's the name of the hashtag. Yeah, so I think that's everything. And I feel a lot better about, great grammar, a lot better about how this video has gone. So hopefully the audio worked this time. I feel like I was a little more articulate. So I think I talked about everything I needed to talk about. And oh yeah, because I'm gonna do Quick Stitch Iris as the Tour de France challenge, I will no longer need it in my September plans for as a family piece because it's already gonna get 3 weeks worth of work. So instead of the 3 days I was giving it as a family piece, I'm gonna give the Norwegian ship under sale 4 days because I had only given that 1 day. And I'm going to use that for the full coverage phonetics around the world trip to Norway. It's a Norwegian ship. And so I'll give this 4 days and get more of this stormy sky stitched in, get closer to the boat if I can. That would be really nice. So that's later in the month, but I thought I would share that too. So anyways, I think that's everything. And so if you would like to enter either of the giveaways, you can say joy for the prim pattern or temperature to be one of the 8 winners to do an instant download pattern in my shop. So I hope that you enjoy this video and I hope it works. And Lord willing, I'll be back on the 8th and I can draw those winners and share what I worked on this week. And so, and enjoy my birthday stitching next week. So with that, I will see you next week. Happy stitching. Bye.